Hey guys, welcome to Coding After 30. In today's video, I want to talk about learning to code when you're a beginner and how to not get stuck in tutorial hell. Now, if you're not sure what tutorial hell is, it's when you just keep taking courses, and you still don't feel like you learned enough. Now, if you're a complete beginner, I would recommend at least taking 3 courses. You should take HTML and CSS, JavaScript, and one JavaScript framework course. And the reason that's what I recommend is you do need the basics. It doesn't matter which path you take, you can't go wrong with HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. But in today's video, I want to tell you what I've been doing, and it's something that has helped me to make progress and not feel like I'm constantly in tutorial purgatory. By the way, if you're new to this channel, my name is Paul, and I talk about becoming a web developer late in your life. So if this is something you're interested in, consider subscribing. Hey guys, so it's very easy to continue to take tutorials. If you've seen my video about Udemy tutorials, I have over hundreds and hundreds of tutorials, and I've completed maybe 10 of them to completion, maybe. And what I've noticed in myself is that it's very easy to jump from one tutorial to another tutorial and never finish them. And even when you do finish a lot of tutorials, which most of us don't, so what ends up happening, we end up having unfinished projects. So what I recently started to do, I started to do things backwards. Let me explain what I mean. So normally, a lot of you guys who are just starting out, you're like, I don't know how to code, I can't do anything, so I have to learn. And you start learning the basics, which is good. It's the right thing to do. But then you still don't feel confident enough to be able to do your first project, so you don't really do anything. You just jump to another tutorial and another tutorial and another tutorial, and it just keeps going and going, and you just find yourselves months, maybe years down the road where you really haven't done anything. So what I started to do now is I start with a project first. So this is backwards. Like, how are you gonna build something if you don't know how to build it? Well, I think having a goal in mind, and it doesn't have to be anything crazy. So for this video, I'm just gonna use a simple example. I want to create a JavaScript app that I could basically just put in the time I go to sleep and put in the time I wake up and just keep track of how I feel throughout the day, and basically have it generate a graph throughout the week that shows, hey, this is how many hours of sleep you had, and this is the moods you were in on the days that you slept well or on the days that you didn't sleep well. So I might not know where to start that project, but I know that I need to know HTML, CSS, and basic JavaScript, at least to start. So once I have an idea of the project, I could focus only on those classes that will give me that knowledge. And so what I would do is I would maybe mock up or draw a design what I think the app should look like. And I should start basically learning HTML and CSS. And as I learn, apply what I learned towards that project. So the point is, instead of waiting to finish a course, then building something, start building something first and then learn what you need. And that's a very important distinction, at least for me mentally, because it puts me into the mode of producing and not deferring making a project into some later day. You have to start now. You have to produce. One of the biggest mistakes that a lot of us make when we're learning to code is that we don't produce anything for our portfolio until eventually at some point in the future, maybe 2-3 years from now. That's not what you want. You want to start doing now. So by changing your mindset to be, instead of learning mode, but production mode, what you're doing is you're forcing yourself to always have your portfolio at the forefront of what you're doing. And yes, it's going to be hard, but I guarantee you that you will accomplish a lot more. What I'm trying to say to you guys is that don't let studying be a form of procrastination that keeps you from building things and building projects. So I challenge you guys, even if you're a complete beginner, is to start with a project in mind. And let me tell you this, most you should take 4 classes at most. Because what you will find on Udemy is that when you take a React class, especially if it's a good one, or if you take an HTML, CSS, or JavaScript class, especially if they're current and they're good ones, whatever you're going to learn in that class is the same stuff you're going to learn in somebody else's class. Because a good class will teach you everything. So there's no point of taking HTML and CSS class and then taking another HTML and CSS. Let's say you're in high school, you're a freshman in high school, or whatever grade you are, and you're taking math level 1, whatever it is. Next year, you're not going to take math level 1 again. You already did it. There's no point of repeating it. And so that's the whole point here. Take 4 classes, HTML and CSS, JavaScript, some sort of front-end framework like React. And if you want to take a 4th class, a good class is to learn more about how to deal with databases and how to either consume an API or create your own API. And after that though, you should, if you haven't started following this idea of project first, you should definitely start building stuff. Instead of having the need to be like, well, I just have to take another class. No. Don't do that. Like, what you have to do is you have to get stuck in your project, and then you have to Google stuff online. You have to find a solution. You have to work through the problems. That's where the magic of learning happens. It happens through the struggle. So if there's a takeaway from this video, especially if you're serious about becoming a web developer and you're just getting started, or you've been doing it for a while and you don't seem like you're making progress, it's because you have to be in produce mode. You have to build projects that are worthy to be put in your portfolio. I don't know if you saw my last video of project review, kind of give you an idea of what kind of project you should build. I just started a new one, but the idea is, especially if you didn't go to a computer science degree or you didn't go to boot camp where you guys build a good portfolio, you need a portfolio. It'll be very difficult for you to get hired if you have nothing to show for it, especially if you're a self-taught developer, because you have to understand you're competing with not just other self-taught developers, you're competing with other people who graduated out of college with a CS degree or boot camp or whatever. So if you don't have a portfolio that you built to showcase, that'll be very difficult. So don't expect after many classes all of a sudden be able to get a job. It's not that easy. Don't let the hype train on YouTube tell you otherwise. It's not as easy as it seems. It's actually very difficult. And so if you're not putting your time into the right places, like building your portfolio and having something to show, it will be very difficult. So anyway, enough of me babbling on, but I just want to say thank you for your time, giving some guy on YouTube ability to speak his mind. And I am some guy on YouTube. But the thing is, I'm fairly recently just got a job. I've been only at my job for 10 months. I'm over 35 years old. I'm 40 years old. I don't want to say it because it's just terrible. It makes me feel bad because I wish I started this earlier, but doesn't matter. The point is, I'm in the trenches. I'm living through this and I'm learning through mistakes, and I want to share with you what my experience has been so you guys are able to have more realistic expectations of what it takes to get a job. If you're young and you have the ability to go to college, get a CS degree, that's perfectly fine. If you're a little bit older and you want to go to boot camp, that's fine too. If you're self-taught, that's fine too. But doesn't matter what path you take, you have to understand all those paths take time and effort. So don't assume just because someone went to computer science degree for college that all of a sudden you could spend less time than they did and be more qualified. Maybe in some cases, if you're a magical human being that could learn everything easily. But the point is, you need to put in time. There's a reason why they say they have the 10,000 hour rule or whatever it is. I'm not saying that you need to put in 10,000 hours to get a job, but I'm saying be ready to put in your time. Anyway, here I go babbling again. I just want to say, I hope you guys found this video useful. If you have any suggestions, let me know in the comments. If you hated this video for whatever reason, don't be too mean, but let me know what I could do better so I could keep making better videos. So thanks for watching. I'll see you guys later.